Yeah. If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no syrup. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
You hear it all the time. It doesn't get old.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And we didn't have a countdown today. We just kind of went right for it. Let's see.
I love it. I'm here for it. Can we get a full version of that song just for us? I don't even care if we put it out. Like, I just want it for me.
You heard him, Lou. So, just in case if you guys don't know, the creator of that song was Lou Scythe. He put that together. You saw him on the Mandalorian episodes. Just talking all about Mando with us. So just some quick announcements. So no, there will not be an episode this Friday, but we will be back next Tuesday, as promised, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys check out the Medusa's Cascade every Saturday, the D&D podcast by and beyond, because there is just a bunch of havoc. And we just launched Collateral Recap. I can never say the word Collateral Recap.
There you go.
Hosted by Alexander Sapunsis from Wayward Raven, where he's talking to various cast members from the show, so this way you guys learn more. But
I think on this week's episode, I think it's me and Yun.
Yeah, so
this week,
keep in mind that you guys are the recaps are an episode ahead of the actual episodes that are airing. So like by the time you listen to episode 3 of the recap, they're talking about episode 4.
Oh. Also, quick announcements. Make sure you guys check out the descriptions from some podcasts, streams, and all to follow after the show. Again, we like to give everyone shout-outs on network. We call it the Nerds Network. So big shout-out to everybody. And a big shout-out to Jeff Ryder. See that episode from last week? He just launched his Kickstarter and we covered it. So make sure you guys check out that last week's episode. And it is going, and it is on wildfire right now. And he has a great bunch of push rewards for you people and everyone out there who support it. So now I want to bring in our guests because we have a great lineup today who've come on to the Nerds to talk what everyone's come for WandaVision. But before we get into WandaVision, Tone, please give us that spoiler warning.
Of course. So we are talking about WandaVision, episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. As always, we are doing spoilers. And now usually I like to say Tony Stark has died, but I think my spoiler warning for today and probably for the next 2 episodes will also be, it's been Agatha all along.
So our first guest, head of a great comic book company, met this guy. We've been through the roads together. He's been building a great universe of comics on the indie scene. I want to give it up for the founder of Bronx Heroes, Ray Felix. Ray, what's up?
What's going on?
He put on a hat. Oh, look at you.
Hey, if you can't beat them, join them. This is a Clayton exclusive. Clayton Patterson from the Lower East Side. This is official Lower East Side beer.
Yes.
That's right. So if you guys want that hat, please hit up Ray Felix. There you go.
You can find it at Etsy for Clayton. Support Clayton during this COVID time. He's 71 years old.
Wow.
So the next person,
no way.
Mm-hmm.
So the next person we're bringing up, we did an episode a while back with A. Rubin where we were talking about this awesome story that he wrote in this anthology book for Skullgate Media. So I got to talk to this guy. We were working back and forth, and we have some great stuff coming down the line. I want to welcome for the first time the founder of Skullgate Media, Chris Van Dyke. Chris, what's up?
Hey
Welcome
guys,
to the Nerds.
Hey. Thanks for having me. Excited.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for coming on, guys, to talk WandaVision. We want to get into this real quick with this episode. The big thing, it was Agnes all along. How did you guys feel about that reveal? Chris, we will start with you. Go right ahead.
Okay, I mean, I didn't see it coming. Just as a full confession, I'm a huge comic nerd for years back, but I have had such tunnel vision for the X-Men this entire season. I was just all like, it's House of M. They're going to be rolling out. Even when in episode 4 rolled around, the back of the gray head, everyone else was like, oh, it's your brother. I was like, it's Magneto. They're finally bringing Magneto in, and they didn't. So I wasn't even thinking Agnes. I've just been thinking this is going to bring in the mutants the whole time. So other people knew it was coming from a ways away. I did not see it. I got blindsided with my mutant tunnel vision. But I loved it. Yeah.
It was the awesome reveal, the jingle. Ray, I know we were just talking about it backstage. You were the big comic book nerd. You even brought out one of the books. How did you feel about this reveal, Ray?
I was like, it's about time. I was a big Wanda and Vision fan from way back. John Byrne's West Coast Avengers and the regular Avengers. And I think, they've been flirting with Nightmare and Mephisto, but the man that is over here is it might be Master Pandemonium over here. It looks like I got a delay over here on my video for some reason.
a little bit, but we can hear you perfectly.
Wanda's messing with you right now.
Yeah.
We're all witnessing it.
Your whole reality's messed up.
Yeah,
It's
like a kung fu movie. It's like so Master Pandemonium might be the man behind it. You never know. But he was the one that was behind it with Mephisto in the comics.
Would you say that there's like a league or a council of just like supervillains just there in the background, just all pulling strings from separate parts?
Oh, sure, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm just glad that they brought the real Captain Marvel into the Marvel universe.
I want to touch up on this because I want to get you, because this is you guys' first time coming on the show talking with the recap with us. I want to start with Chris. It's like, how has this show been for you when you started watching? What was some of the theories that you were throwing out there? I'll start with you, Chris.
Let's see. My personal pet theory, which I knew they weren't going to do, but I wanted them to do. So I guess it was more like my love than an actual theory. Is I was really hoping that it was going to be sort of a House of M thing, and my whole thing was it was going to be that the last 10 years of the MCU was the world without mutants, and that it was that we're going to snap back into a Marvel 616 at the end of this, and it's boom, the mutants have been there the whole time, and we've been
I never even thought of that.
And that was, I was like, but then I was like, they're not going to undermine 10 years of this multi-billion-dollar industry by saying it was all a dream. But I thought that would have been awesome, where it's like it ends, and then you got the X-Men have been there the whole time, or like Wolverine's like saving her for like. So that's what I wanted to see. That was, again, that's why I was sort of blindsided, because I just kept everything. I was like, the mutants are coming, the mutants are coming, the mutants are coming.
Feige, we know who to recommend for. I'm helping you write this stuff, Kevin Feige. We're gonna send you over to Chris. That was a good theory.
That's actually brilliant.
So I thought it was going to be like leading to the whole like next 10-year arc was going to be the House of M unfolding, starting with this show. But
we still got a few episodes. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. We never know.
I know. It's been really. Oh no, go ahead, Chris.
I was just, and a whole bunch of other series is coming out too, so there could be this could be coming at any point. But go on.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Ray, you go ahead, Ray. You're next. We're gonna tag you in. Well, how has this series been for you so far this season and everything with what's been going on? And I know you've been fanboying out, so come on.
Oh man, I love it from the very first episode with the whole Dick Van Dyke I Love Lucy Bewitched montage, and then the Brady Bunch Partridge Family thing, and I've been digging it. Like I've been watching every episode 2-3 times, but I'll watch it like I wait. I don't watch it right after. I wait a few days, think about it, then watch it again. So
that's a great way to approach it. It's like these deep dive having fun.
Oh my god, I'm frozen. Am I frozen over there? I see I'm frozen.
Yeah, man, you're playing with time, man. It's like you're talking, and it's like we don't see nothing.
I think your audio is coming in good though.
Right,
your audio is
with the wrong Infinity Stone over there.
I didn't even attach my video camera like the proper one, but that's all right. I'm just gonna.
It was Agnes all along, so we know.
Agnes is with us right now. She's messing with this audio feed.
Listen, your audio's great. It's just a video. The video's slight delay.
Yeah, audio super crisp.
So I want to get into this. Is like, where do you guys think the twins are at right now with Agnes? Since it was Billy that pointed out that he didn't hear the voices in Agnes' head like he heard throughout everyone in Westview. So where do you think the twins are at right now, and who do you think is Ralph? We're gonna start with you this time, Ray.
I think Ray's still setting up.
Yeah.
Oh, Ray. So Chris, we'll start with you, Chris.
I mean, if we're drawing back to the comics and the Mephisto, I mean, the idea that the twins don't exist and they're actually part of just sort of this, this occult thing that's going on is probably where it's. I mean, the kids obviously have been aging at a rate that doesn't make any sense, clearly, and they've clearly set up too that Wanda isn't creating reality out of nothing, and so what are they coming from? It has to be something else. So I'm guessing they've never existed. I don't know if we're bringing Mephisto in or if they're going that canonical with the comics, but I'm not sure.
Maybe.
So that's my
Yeah.
I've been looking at this whole thing where we're getting, well, we called it that because we're about to deep dive into one of our favorite characters that started in Captain Marvel, was that this was going to be the origin story of Monica Rambeau, how she got her powers. I feel like we're seeing a piece of the Young Avengers being born, since we already had Scott Lang's daughter introduced. We now have the twins.
We have Hawkeye's daughter.
Hawkeye's daughter, who's coming in. Well, yeah, Kate Bishop, who's coming in the Hawkeye series. And it's just that, I really feel like Ralph is code for Mephisto, because Agnes keeps like, Ralph.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Mephisto was Ralph the whole time, and that when she took away the kids, she literally just brought the kids to him, because I doubt that she would reality warp and manipulate the kids to just not exist anymore. I think she has plans for them, especially Wiccan, because Wiccan has reality also empowers himself. She's gonna keep them and keep them very close to her, or at least to Mephisto.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she is taking them to Mephisto, based off, the jingle at the end. We know that Agatha shows up in the first episode, just behind the door. So she's just showing up, and her main purpose using, saying Ralph. I'm fully on the same fence that she brought them to Ralph and kind of potentially playing out that comic book storyline where they are parts of his soul. Because to everyone's point, the kids need to come from somewhere. They're not being created from nothing. So the Huckwixes really of Mephisto, because I think we're going to see him. I think we're going to see him in the last 2 episodes. I think some folks saying they're not. He's too big of a player, but I think we're going to see him.
I don't think we'd see him full force. I'm not expecting to see big bad kind of Dormammu levels, but at least a glimpse, or at least a very specific nod. This is him. He was here the whole time. That's all you're gonna get. Wait for Doctor Strange 2.
That's gonna be the end of season 1. It's gonna be what? Yeah.
They already showed who it was, though. It is a man, because they showed a silhouette. I think it was the episode when she was walking through with the machinery. It was one of the episodes where there was the Fritz and the static screen for the hex. They showed for a glimpse. It was like a fight club moment where they just showed a silhouette of a guy with a cape on.
Really?
And then it blanked out.
Now I have to go back again.
There's a lot.
There's a lot
of Easter eggs there. And I didn't realize it until I saw this YouTube video on it. I was like, oh shit.
Did you guys realize, and this is one thing I wanted to touch up, so they show a book that Agnes has there, which we all know as the Darkhold. Did you guys pick up that this is also one of the books that was missing when Doctor Strange was studying magic in his movie?
So I didn't. I saw it on a TikTok video where someone said, "Did you notice this detail?" And I saw. I was like, "No way!" That's such a great way to have that weave in that book, and then this book now leads into, or this series now leads into Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Alex, go to the corner.
That's awesome.
Alex, we're gonna put Alex in the corner for that comment.
Alex, I expect better from you. I expect better.
But this shows the interconnectivity of Marvel. I mean, I want to get your guys' feedback on that. Ray, what did you think about them doing that little throwback to Doctor Strange, since Wanda's going to be in Doctor Strange too?
I think it's really cool. I mean, the way they're weaving. Excuse me, got the beer burps. The way they're weaving the TV, I never got this from the Shield TV show. I thought the Shield TV show was really lame when it first began, and they weren't really weaving it in. But now with Disney Plus and I guess they realize that the future of film is streaming. So it's a brilliant idea. Why have a 2-hour movie? Yeah, you can make $1 billion, but if you do like a monthly subscription, you're making billions of dollars, and it's like having your local junkie pusher at the corner ready to serve you. You know, it's like, give me my WandaVision. Oh, Cap, Bucky, and the Winter Soldier. You know, it's like Doctor Strange. You know, it's like, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant the way they do it. I'm never too happy like with Civil War, which was a good movie. But I didn't like the way they did the Baron Zemo. But now with the show, now they're bringing Baron Zemo with the mask and stuff. Like somebody kicked somebody in the ass, and they got it.
That was the main criticism for Civil War was Zemo, and the fact that they're just like, all right, we're gonna take that criticism and make him the main big bad, and we're gonna give him the purple hood that everyone was wanting. You know,
Yep.
A lot of the TV shows were like that. A lot of the TV shows were like the hush, bastard children that you just keep.
It was like after Winter Soldier, really, is when I noticed all the stuff for Agent. Like they had the switch for everyone was in Hydra, which was like a big to do, and then I think like they did the Terrigen Mist and all that shit. It just kind of went off the rails to like its own universe.
Yeah,
I want to get Chris to jump in on that about the interconnectivity, but I want to touch up on that just real quick. Was that it was, and like Alex pointed out, it was a lot of internal struggles at that time at Marvel, because Kevin Feige at one point reported directly to Marvel, and then Disney was like, "Now you report directly to us." So the TV shows, if you notice, Shield at one point, Agents of Shield was lining up with the movies, but then they were their own two separate divisions, because even the Netflix shows. Yep. At one point, we're lining up with the movies, and then they started to separate because the TV division was like, "Screw it, we're going to do our own thing," and Kevin Feige was just reporting directly to Disney. But Chris, how do you feel about this interconnectivity? How is that zooming out to you as a fan and knowing that they just referenced something from Doctor Strange?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm hearing about this for the first time, but I love it. I mean, I did not catch it. I haven't rewatched Doctor Strange in the last year, so I did not catch that and haven't seen the TikToks on it. But I mean, I love the way that they've done that and that they can play with it. And now that it's when it's under one creative umbrella, the idea that it is sort of an actual shared universe like that is awesome. I mean, I also did not watch S.H.I.E.L.D., so I can't speak to that. But I know there was this time, where everything's sort of splintered. You have sort of Marvel and you've got your different, intellectual property. I mean, I know they're still hammering it all out, but now that it's sort of coming together, I think, and as far as they're handling it all really well too. I mean, that's what I've been impressed by just over this entire 10-year arc, is that you have such a billion-dollar industry cranking out such best-selling films, and the quality tends to be so high, and that they have these long-running story arcs that are working together, and they get so far they're nailing it out of the park. Like, I had high expectations for WandaVision, and it has exceeded my expectations. I went into it expecting to love it, and every episode I've been like, that was better than I was hoping. Yeah. So yeah,
I have to agree. It's been blown. I honestly didn't have many expectations of it, but as soon as I started doing the whole House of M thing, and then the John Byrne West Coast Avengers, and then apparently that scene where she goes back to get Vision's body was a deleted scene from Infinity War. So how they reinserted it into the TV series, I thought that was pretty awesome. I hope that in the future, maybe with the Cap and Bucky stuff, that they'll bring back, they'll pull a Ra's al Ghul, or like the Mandarin, where we get to really meet the real, Von Structor or something like that, and redeem that character, because the way they used him in Ultron was like duty, So
well, Marvel right now, and they realized that was probably one of their biggest faults, is that they're actually now fleshing out their villains, because someone had pointed out too. Because again, going back, it's like you said, having to review WandaVision, there's just little nuggets there, little mulligans that they put there for fans. Like they're like, there's a file in what's his face is the guy who's the head of Sword right now. His name escapes me. Hart, yeah, whatever his name is.
Harkness.
There's a file there that reads for like Ultron, like it's kind of like code for Ultron, because we all know Ultron in the comics.
The file is called Cataracts.
Yeah.
Cataracts, yeah.
So
yeah, I think
So
that's
with that.
It was like Vision's eyes when he died. They were like cataract.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Monica. So Monica did her superhero landing,
Oh, she's awesome.
which Deadpool would be like, "Oh my God, she's gonna do a superhero landing."
Gotta have
before
your
the hex,
Gotta have your 3-point stance, but you know.
Even before that, when she jumped, like when she got through the hex wall, and then her
Thanks,
eyes
Alex.
lit up, and then she can see like the ultraviolet spectrum, and you're just like,
Thanks, Bringer.
"Oh, it's about to go down."
Right.
Yeah, I thought that
But
was
wait,
actually
let's-
really dope. How like going seeing the energy waves and seeing what she sees and like just seeing all the power. I thought that was a really dope visual.
Also, how
just
she
you know,
went in like that whole like her
Yeah.
forcing her like will to like be like, no, I'm going to stay me as
Yep.
I was before I came in. Like it's amazing.
and also
Well-
hearing stuff from her past and hearing have lines from Captain Marvel.
But Chris, how did you feel when you saw that scene? Because I know there was a lot of throwbacks in there. We got to see also like past, and then we got to see a glimpse of possibly what her costume's going to look like. How did you feel when that scene started and she started walking through the hex?
Oh, I loved it. I love Captain Marvel. I love Monica Rambeau. I like the idea of having her turn into a major player in the MCU. I hope we're getting there. And just I'm a sucker for the strong that sort of strong female lead like that who manages to bring the physical prowess, but also like she's like, I don't want to punch my way through everything. Like just the whole we are here to help Wanda. And I like that complexity that she brings to it. And that Captain Marvel sort of has always brought to it. I love the way that you got her eyes and then she was sort of back to her. So you sort of have sort of both going on. I thought they did it really well.
Yeah, I thought she was amazing.
Right.
It was a good interpretation. I love that they kept the afro, but they gave it a little like Frederick Douglass modernization part.
Yes, I loved it.
Yeah.
I think she looked. The only thing I would say is that why did her eyes turn blue? It should have been like yellow or like green or purple. Why blue? It's like we get these things in our subliminal things put in the eyes. Like I got powers and I got blue eyes now. It's like okay, so you got the Aryan power. It's like, I mean, silly, but at the same time, it's like. We should.
Well, I think it's a play on color because think about it. Wanda's powers are red. Agnes, when we saw her powers are purple. So it's like it's probably whatever play and the powers and all that lining up.
And the fact she had yellow glass though, so I thought it should be yellow. I don't know. That's just me.
But
I did love the Frankenstein, the whole Munsters type of twist. Like they did like the Munsters thing for Agnes Harkness, like the whole twist on. And if you remember the brother that was dressed up as a Frankenstein before, he had that Munsters kind of look too, like during the Halloween episode, that he had that Herman Munster feel to him,
Yeah, and I think to Alex's points, I think I agree with the whole blue because when you go into the field of view, you see all the waves are like in a blue. I don't know if the purple. I think the purple maybe have to do with the fact that she's in the power from Agatha. Because we saw that happen also to Wanda. Wanda's eyes also turn purple, and we know that the color purple is now a theme for all of Agatha's magic.
Right.
No,
yeah.
I want to dive into this. Is that who did you guys think was on the other side of that phone call? Because I have a theory that I pulled up about what's possibly going on. Ray, we're going to jump into you first. With who do you think that Monica called? Who was supposed to be the astrophysicist? I mean, who was your guess?
Reed Richards, man, or Sue Richards. Some people have said Dr. Doom, but I think it's Reed Richards, and hopefully, if they're smart, they'll do it. They got to tie it in.
Chris?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I was assuming this is a way to sort of bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU. That's what I was going for. I don't know. Doctor Doom would be awesome, but I was expecting more of a Reed Richards Fantastic Four call.
Yeah, and it would be pre-accident either way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Alex says Ghostbusters.
Or Howard the Duck. Might be Howard the Duck.
Well, that's what you're going to call, but
Dr. Duck.
Yeah,
I know.
Go ahead.
Have you guys been reading the current Doctor Doom comic? Just
No,
on the Doctor Doom thing. Oh.
I haven't.
It's really
Doctor Doom is.
Steve has heard about something.
It's really good. That's just a little nerd plug there, so it's great.
But you know in May that Doctor Doom is going to have the powers of the Juggernaut, right?
What?
Yeah.
They're doing some crazy storyline where what if the Avengers didn't exist and it was the Squadron Supreme that really ran everything, and only one who knows that they're in a whole reality is Blade. But it's pretty cool because Doctor Doom is going to be.
He's already a broken character. Like just giving him Juggernaut's powers is like
that's like the Century.
Well,
they'll just get bored and they'll take the helmet off.
Well, let's run into so the fan theory that's going on is that she met Major Goodner. That's who she met there at the base, and they're like that was probably needed. And some people are theorizing that she might be a secret Skrull because Monica has this relationship with the Skrulls since she was a kid, like a positive relationship, and we see Skrulls already in the Marvel universe, and there's already
as a part of Sword.
And their Secret Invasion is also lined up as a future show for Marvel. Now, they're saying that this might be a Skrull unit, and Marvel, if you notice, hasn't introduced a character without having them playing a little small role. Like an example of this is Jasper Stilwell, who was the former Shield agent who ended up turning into a Hydra agent, and he was the guy who had such a minor role. And then that whole scene with him. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that theory, Chris? I'll lead in with you with that one.
I have not. Again, I'm sort of out of the deep dive loop, but I mean, I like it. You're right. I mean, we've introduced the Skrulls, but haven't done a whole lot with them, and I know that they are coming down the pipeline. So that would be. It would also explain why you have the sort of rogue unit of Sword that just shows up while Sword's in one place, and another rogue unit of Sword shows up. Having a Skrull unit would explain how they're just running around with this giant high-tech machine without getting permission to have it.
Yeah.
I know.
Ray, how do you feel about that theory?
I think it's cool. I was one of the few people that actually liked Captain Marvel the movie with the Skrulls. You know, even though the Skrulls I thought would be better, badass and evil, like the Klingons. They could have been the Klingons of the Marvel universe. They went a different direction. They did like this, this immigration issue, which I thought was relatable to what's happening in the real world. So I thought that was smarter. And it's good to have smart movies, not just entertainment, and to weave in things that are happening in the world today. So I'm all for it. I'm on board. And I just heard that they announced unofficially, it's official because he said it. The Hulk actor, I forget his name, announced that the next Avengers movie is going to be Annihilation. So they're going to do the Annihilation based on that. Yes, another space war. They're going to keep the Avengers in space. And Annihilation was that Fantastic Four villain, right?
It was Annihilus. It was Annihilus. It was Annihilus. It was involved with the Guardians of the Galaxy and everything.
Right.
So it's like a whole big story with that.
So that's going to be.
I want to know if they bring back Abomination, because technically he never died in that first movie that they did with Edward Norton.
I think he's coming back in something.
Yeah,
they keep rumoring him. I think, or at least
She-Hulk. I think he's coming back in She-Hulk because She-Hulk has a bunch of characters already that they've
that'd be a smart play. Yeah,
yeah. I saw that the actor was coming back. I think during the Wall Street call that they did, where it became another D20, but it was an investors call.
Right.
And they were doing all that stuff. I think they had mentioned that he's coming back for She-Hulk. Which is cool because we don't know what happened exactly. We don't know what happened with him and everything. So,
but a lot of people also still theorizing that this also still may be an entry for Blue Marvel because he is one of those physicists that they mentioned. We came up with the theory maybe it might be Hank McCoy, which would fall into your theory, Chris, that the mutants have always been there. Which I think will work perfect. I love that theory, but
I'm digging the Skrull. I'm digging the Skrull theory though, just because the Skrulls are just around on Earth playing characters. Like the Skrulls are on Earth playing. Oh my goodness, Sam Jackson, Jesus, playing Nick Fury, and we don't know how long the Skrulls have been playing Nick Fury. Nick Fury's out in space. On a shield vessel. So we know that the Skrulls are definitely doing some sort of rogue agent thing with Sword that probably was helped by by Marie. Like I think she probably set that up when she first started Sword and probably used Sword as like a front to help intergalactic species, probably with Carol.
But I want to touch up on the commercial that was aired, because you guys have been seeing all the commercials. They're all like different things that have to do with Wanda. Right. And the key thing that stuck out was that it was called Nexus. And we know in the Marvel universe, Nexus means the nexus of all realities. And Wanda has been mentioned to be a Nexus character. And we also know that the Man-Thing is also involved in Nexus too. I mean, there may be a way to bring a Man-Thing. What do you guys feel about this commercial?
Nexus is also a reference from Age of Ultron. So in the house, when they're in Clint's house, it's Nick, Tony, and Steve. They're all talking, and they go, "What about you guys at Nexus?" So I don't know much about it in the.
Wasn't Nexus just the main data hub? That's where Tony went.
I don't know if that's a data hub. It sounded like it was a collective of people who are essentially like the NSA.
I want to.
Right.
Go ahead, Chris.
Did you guys hear about Age of Ultron? That the deleted scene of when Wanda goes into the Hulk's mind, we never saw what the Hulk saw. Apparently, they filmed the Gray Hulk, and there's supposed to be some Gray Hulk footage out there. But then Kevin Feige, he admitted to it, but then they removed it and never went back to that. But the whole Black Widow Hulk thing was supposed to be the emergence of the Gray Hulk, and that's why he left. But then they removed that part and then just got rid of all that footage. But now Disney Plus is talking about doing a Red Hulk show in the near future. So who knows what's going to happen if they bring that back.
I would love to see that, because that will lead into Thunderbolts and all that too. I mean, Marvel's been talking about doing a lot of shows, and again, Nexus realities, because Man-Thing was once on Sci-Fi. I would say because we're dealing with multiple realities in this, I feel like it's going to fall into the reality. Chris, I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Again, and especially coming as a writer and all that, like how the show's been written. I want to get your thoughts on it.
So, man, what was the ad in the most recent one? Because I'm forgetting what the one that keeps sticking in my head is the yogurt one from the
from last week. This was this was like a Nexus pill.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like the like antidepressant.
She's taking in the show. If you see her, like when she takes a pill, you see it like in her hand.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I mean, again, you've got the reality, you've got the multiverse idea. I mean, I've loved the ads. I mean, that is just one thing I've loved through all of them, as they're sort of each one fits what. I'm not sure whether they're supposed to be like a teaser to like, sort of an actual reality, or whether they're just supposed to thematically, because every single one has also hit sort of the emotional theme of whatever that episode is, whether it's like the paper towels, whether you're cleaning up the messes, whether it's the just running out of energy. So I just haven't been able to decide whether there's like a secret sort of spoiler like hint at what's really going on, or whether they were merely more of a tonal thing that was sort of just thrown out to match each episode. I'm not sure, but I mean, everyone has had a reference to something, whether it was Stark or Hydra. So
Taco Speed says, I've witnessed the subscription lease for the final 2 episodes, and I'm going to say something. No, we don't want to see the lease, but yes, we're going to grab it's going to be a nice ride.
I have a theory, and agree or disagree. I think that, I mean, they showed the corpse with Vision, right? But that could have been. Did Wanda disappear, or did she turn to dust as well?
Yeah, she turned to dust. She turned to dust in the snap.
She turned to dust.
Oh, right, yes.
I was wondering if they're going to do a flashback of her fighting Thanos, and I think they're going to, because you remember she says that line, you don't know how much you took from me and all this other stuff, and then he's like, I don't know who you are. I feel I think they might be, I could be wrong, but I think they might do a callback to that, because he has the time stone power, so how did that happen?
They did a callback to that with the song that was playing when Dottie cut her hand. Because they were like, the song that was playing, it was referencing how Thanos took Vision from her. I want to touch up on this, is that what gets your guys' opinion on it, everyone's opinion, is the fact that when Vision's having the conversation with Darcy, he doesn't remember dying. He just knows, I love Wanda.
Right.
I mean, how do you guys feel about what was going on with that?
Yeah,
I mean, he's...
Sorry. I mean, it's like, let's face it. Like, if you've been in a relationship, everything that happened before the relationship is erased. So it's like, so it's almost like this is our starting point. Everything that happened to you before doesn't exist, and you can't talk about it. So it's kind of like, I think she's just trying to protect him from the trauma of remembering his own death. So.
And he was falling apart. So it's,
yeah.
And he was trying to exit. He was falling apart.
Yeah.
I think she's keeping a lot of, especially she keeps a lot of people's memories like in boxes and away from themselves, kind of thing. But I think especially for Vision, knowing how powerful he is with or without that stone, it would be highly troublesome and problematic if he knew about this prior. It's going to be worse. It's like the consequences are going to be so much worse as a result. But I think if they started with him like remembering that he died, it would have been way, like a way different show from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite moment so far in the entire series was the one where he first confronts her in the kitchen. I think it was at episode 4. And he's like, she's like, you can't control me like everyone else. And she says, oh, can't I? And the credits start rolling. And they keep fighting as the credits roll. And just the whole idea of like, what is a sitcom? A sitcom is like, there's no consequences. Like, you watch an episode of Blackish and, Dre has run his car off a bridge. And the next episode, nobody cares about the fact that he ran his car off the bridge. Nobody cares that, Junior burned the house down. Like, you just move on with life. And so like the fact that, she's using sitcoms to sort of not have any consequences, that scene too, where it's like, I can control you. And he's like, but you can't. And she's sort of manipulating just that the way they ran the credits over it was brilliant. So I think, and she's manipulating him in a way that, she thinks is helping him. So again, like people can do in a relationship. It's like, I'm doing what's best for you. And he's like, that's not, that's not fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Balance Bringer has a question. It's like possible spoilers. Do you think Agnes was brought back by Hulk Snap is the reason they can't find any info on her? I got one to raise for you. How come we have no information and Dottie is not on the board? Because I know we're missing Agnes's ID, and Agnes could just be a multi-dimensional being.
I think we're missing Agnes because she and her people almost got burned in the Salem witch trials, and she's been hiding since. And I think next week's episode is going to be a backstory of how Agnes got to where she is.
Yeah. Also, did you?
I like that.
Those credits was almost like Natural Born Killers when they did that whole like
the sitcom at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Yes.
Oh wow! Yeah.
The deep dive, right? It's like, so. I think that's also, and then I don't know if you guys are into like Mr. Robot. They kind of did like a Married with Children thing, and I think it was like season 2 or 3 where he was regressing, and then
that's season. I want to say season 3.
Yeah, it's probably season 3.
Huh?
So I think
Did you get? Go ahead, Ray.
No.
Sorry.
You were saying how did what?
No, how did you guys like with the fourth wall breaking in this episode?
I thought it was cool because it was like the Malcolm in the Middle continuation from the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle. Very Modern Family-esque. Especially Wanda, like in the morning, and her sound bites. Like just me and my family have been rewatching Modern Family, so it's just like
mine too.
Real close to it. Like she's acting a lot like Claire, and I think actually the actress who played Claire commented about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sitting in the sofa, the whole thing. Just it felt very, very Modern Family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like give it a touch of reality show with that that she's putting on an entire reality. Like I pretty love the scene where Vision suddenly realizes he's talking to a camera crew.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he keeps getting sort of lulled into the reality of
very Truman.
I'm going to sit here talking. It's like what the very Truman Show. Sort of like
I was going to say I was getting more MTV.
Yeah.
MTV.
See, with Taco Speed, notice that too. See the Darkhold that was obtained by Agnetha was missing. So that's again. This is. I love when Vision looked at it, pulled off the mic. He's like, "What am I doing here? Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
And Darcy's just looking at him like, "Yo, bro, like you gonna leave me? All right, that's cool. I'll be there with you later."
I mean, that was very Truman Show-ish there. The fact that the RV just was not getting to the center of town.
Right.
Yes.
Like
Like
anything and everything that was possible.
When
And
the
then
trail
Vision's
of
like,
kids
all
came
right.
in front of the car, and they're like,
Yeah.
it's like, that was great.
Yeah,
What
and
is
Vision was like,
going
"All
on?
right, I'm phasing out of this truck. I'm going to go see my wife. Like, this is ridiculous."
Well, like too, like at that point, it's either I don't know whether it's Agnes or Wanda. If it's Wanda, it could be still like subconscious, like she doesn't want Vision to unravel this because as soon as he says, as soon as he realizes what's going on, their fantasy crumbles. Or it's Agnes trying to keep him away from the middle. I'm not sure, but whoever's controlling the reality is sort of throwing these things out.
I think it's Agnes because if you notice, Agnes, when Vision saw her talking to her and she did that whole thing, she walked up to her and they showed it and Agnes did a thing. They were asking about Monica at the time. Like, should you leave her alone with Monica, Geraldine, whatever? And then when he saw her in the car and she acted like she was woken up by Vision.
Right.
And was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And then, the voices. So she was manipulating Vision at this point. I think it was her trying to keep Vision away from the center of town.
Right.
But I want to jump into the post-credit scene that we had with Geraldine, Monica meeting Pietro. And I want to get everyone's theory of who do you think Pietro is? Is this the actual Quicksilver or is it someone else? We would jump into Chris. Go right ahead. I want to get your theories on that.
That's still one of the questions I have. I clearly think it's not Quicksilver. It's not her brother. I mean, one of my first thoughts, this could be a multiverse thing, but he seems to have been sent there. So I mean, I think it's something that Agnes is doing to emotionally manipulate her and mess with her. But I mean, my first thought when he first showed up was that it was, again, sort of a multiverse, a devolving of the lines. Here's a Quicksilver that never died, but he clearly, whoever this Quicksilver is, sort of remembers dying. Like he talks about it, and so I think it's more of a again, sort of Agnes. Maybe drawing. If we get to Mephisto, maybe this is actually his spirit. Like maybe it is, the dead Quicksilver that they've brought back to life in order to try to manipulate Wanda. Boom, there's my theory that I just came up with as I was talking. The best
so
time.
much with the show.
I think at first I thought it was like, oh, they're merging the universes, but now the way he was talking and he was acting kind of like Kevin Bacon, he was like the whole Kevin Bacon thing. I feel like he's either Nightmare or he's Mephisto, or he might be the other dude that we just mentioned. I forgot his name.
Oh, the husband.
Where's Ralph?
Yeah,
Ralph?
He was Ralph, but Ralph is the devil himself. Who knows what it is? It's probably a guy. It does look like Nightmare. I mean, Nightmare is the character that's going to be in the Doctor Strange movie, confirmed villain. So it's either going to tie in or it isn't. And if it doesn't, I mean, maybe they're just reintroducing dead Pietro and bringing him back to life. Maybe Wanda did bring his body back to life.
Yeah.
But Agatha Harkness is basically manipulating his corpse, or it's just like the Suns. I mean, the Suns aren't real. We know in the comic books that the Suns didn't exist.
Yeah,
They were
but he eventually came back to join the Young Avengers. Tone, I want to get your thoughts on this because I know you've been talking about Evan Peters and how he plays some creepy people. I want you to jump in on this deep dive.
American Horror Story, man.
To Alex's point that he may be playing Mephisto, I'm here for that. If they decide to just throw it to the wind and be like, we're not bringing any of the OG, X-Men people except like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, right? Like we're gonna just recast and put them into different roles. Evan Peters as the Devil of Marvel would be like incredible. Like the creepy characters he's played in American Horror Story, that just fits right into it. Being able to be that character that's kind of behind the scenes, because Mephisto he won't be like a one movie wonder. He'll be around, and having him do that, I'm 100% here for that. Like that's great. Like ASAP, that was awesome. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Yeah. I'm all here for that right now. Yeah,
it could be that the 20th Century Fox version of those Marvel movies is all Nightmare Universe or Mephisto Universe.
Yeah.
Let's. I want to get some of these comments up. So, Google moment: Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and the voice actor for Ultron are in the cast for the second Doctor Strange movie, because we know Doctor Strange is going into multiverse because the multiverse of madness.
Well, I would
Good.
Balance bringer.
Use James Spader as Ultron some more, please.
Yes.
I almost guarantee we're getting Ultron here. Like in this series, we're getting Ultron.
It's like
But
less
we're probably
than
getting set up.
too.
Balance bringer goes, I agree with Van Dyke because Agnes has been pushing Wanda to exert more and more of her power for an ulterior motive. Yes, and I agree with that too.
Agnes has been pushing kids. Like we knew that from, we knew that from
Agnes
episode
murdered
1.
the dog.
Yeah, I understand she's a dog killer, but she's been pushing kids. She's been
Just don't-
saying, seduction techniques in episode 1, bringing up the school thing in episode 2. Like she's been bringing up these kids and putting kids in the mindset of her head. I even think, even like the whole idea of Wanda and the kids asking about like the brothers and stuff happened in front of Agnes, which kind of gave her the idea to use Pietro. I think, or maybe in something. I know they bring it back to life.
His theory too is I don't think Agatha made Pietro. I've seen in episode 7 she used her purple powers on Herb, so she could have been controlling Pietro and his consciousness. So that gets me thinking he could be real. He could be, because it's like the thing is that for me it goes back to the comment that Darcy made, was that Wanda recasted Pietro.
I think Wanda brought in this Pietro from the X-Men universe. That I think is true.
Okay.
But I think once he got here, Agatha got some of her magic like thrown in there with it. She was like, "Oh, this is a perfect opportunity to just throw a monkey wrench into like her already descending, madness."
But it's like what Ray said. Pietro's coming from the Nightmare verse, which was Fox.
Right.
Fox News.
Who better to like drop her guard? Because all you see with Wanda this entire series is that she has her guard up. So like having her brother there, even though like she recast him and she's like, all right, you don't look like my brother, but I know you are my brother. Like, and then just have Agatha be like, yeah, get real close to her and then pull the rug from her and like make her feel like she's going even crazier than she already is.
Well, a lot of things is like, again, also too, I wanted to point out is how hexagons have really played a lot in this, and now people are starting to notice how hexagons are throughout the entire Marvel universe. Like when they're pointing out when ships are doing the light speed jumps, they're going through hexagons. What are your guys' thoughts of hexagons representing magic, the multiverse, and all that in the Marvel universe? We will start with you, Ray.
I think, when you think about Thor, right? And Thor, they kind of eliminated the whole God concept and then made it more like they were aliens. And then now you have this magic concept, but now the magic is becoming more scientific and more mathematical based. I think it's Marvel, Disney's way of saying, well, we're not saying that there's other gods out there or that there's actual magic, but that this is, a modern take on science and aliens. So Thor is not really a god; he's an alien. They just call themselves gods versus magic is now scientifically explained. I think it's just a modern take on explaining, things that are not understood.
Yeah. I like,
and Disney's good at that.
Well, every science, what is indistinguishable from magic? Was it what's his name? Orson Scott Card? Not Orson Scott Cards. Now I'm just
Orson.
Never mind. Orson. No, forget I was talking. Never mind. That's always one of the things. Like in the comics, obviously the comic actual Marvel universe is just so much messier because you have what is it now? 70 years of people dying, coming back to life, being rebooted. You have the magic, you have the gods, you have the technology. None of it really actually fits together, but that's fine because it's a comic book. So what they're doing with it now, I'm interested. I'm especially interested that they are bringing Mephisto. This is Disney, like you just said. Like, are they staying away from other gods? Like, is Disney really going to shove the devil in all their movies. I'm a little, interested in how they're gonna frame that in terms of, wanting to have a broad audience. It might be 21, but there's a bunch of America that I don't know if they still want like the devil as the supervillain of their Marvel movies. But I'm not sure how the heck this go. I haven't
go for it, but they should go for it like Ray said, the delicate way of like he's there as a otherworldly entity. We understand him to be the devil, but that's just our understanding of him. Just like we thought Thor was a god, but they're just another otherworldly beings that just happen to be powerful and more advanced than us.
Yeah, they have their own realms and things like that, where it's not just like, Christianity, Roman Catholic, things like that, interpretations. It's just they exist, and these beings exist, and they kind of got their way into the mythos of religion created by man. And that's
we called them the devil, we called them gods, but they were just what they were.
But touch up on Ray's point is like how Marvel right now, and we're gonna say Kevin Feige and the writing team and people that he's worked with doing these movies, we could use Thor as an example. Like Thor, Norse god, comes to Earth, people are thinking he's gods, but they established that they are an alien race. They exist on a different plane in this universe. So it's like they've kind of explained that. I remember the TV division was having a hell of a lot of trouble to explain magic because of Iron Fist. They didn't know how to approach it, but yet the way they're approaching it in WandaVision and everything, it's like and the way they approached it in Doctor Strange with the different things of the multiverse and all that, it's like magic is more than just hocus pocus. It actually has to do a lot with like the multiverse and this and that. And it was even touched up with the Ancient One in Avengers Endgame when she talked about how if you pluck something at a time, it's going to divert from there. So again, you got the little bit of taste of that multiverse and everything. So they've done an excellent job explaining these different things of how these myths and all that, like people can perceive it as magic.
I saw a crazy theory that basically said we have Cap when he got frozen nights, and then all the way up to like 2000 whatever, like 11 when he got woken up, and then went back, right? But once he went back, that was the divergent timeline that gave us the MCU.
Right. Blame Captain America. He did everything.
Right. Like it's one of those we have the timeline where Cap was frozen, and then like the events happened. But the reason why we have a lot of things now in the MCU where Skrulls happen, this happened, that happened, is because when he went back, just like the Ancient One said, no matter what, even if you put those things back, those timelines have now diverted.
Split, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If I can repeat myself, I was trying to think of Arthur C. Clarke. That's what I was trying to say. And it says, quote, any sufficient technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's what I was trying to say.
You can yell at this guy all you want right there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And he's drinking.
Time of Speed has been on. As the series is based off of House of M, I do agree that Doctor Strange will show up to manage the Hex, but Wanda is going to have an insane mental breakdown of some sort. Well, I mean, it goes back to the first episode when they thanked all the different creators from the runs that they had at Marvel, which included House of M, Decimation, the original WandaVision series for the comics. So they pulled a lot of resources to build, and she is suffering a mental. And I think we got a lot of that in this episode. And it ties into Spider-Man movie. Yeah, they're gonna bring in Big Hero 6. Go ahead, Will.
But I don't see it where Doctor Strange comes in here to fix those problems and tie up the loose ends. I think that's the reason we get Multiverse of Madness, is that we have all these events from WandaVision bleeding into the events of that movie. Like we're gonna be left with such a big cliffhanger of like, how do we retcon? How do we fix all of this? And that's why we get Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, her being in Nexus too.
Especially because they seem to be taking thematically and ideas from a lot of different stories, but like the Wanda the Vision miniseries, which was one of my favorite comics in the last 10 years. Like it's clearly inspired this, but they're not drawing a whole lot plot wise from that. So Vision had a whole different Vision wife and Vision kids, and there was a whole hiding dead bodies of supervillains plot that went on. But just sort of the way the tone of that comic of sort of the fitting in and trying to have a normal life and then being sort of drugged back into chaos sort of seems to have been more what they took from that. So yeah, I don't know if House of M they're going to literally have the sort of same ending the way that
yeah, I thought it was more House of M in the beginning, but now I see it as more Avengers, West Coast Avengers, John Byrne, 80s. And I think why not go back to the 80s, go back to the well, right? When you run out of ideas, let's face it, a lot of these TV show writers aren't good when they're trying to like, and we saw that through the Shield show. But you look at something like Watchmen that took like something that was established and then said, hey, 20 years later, we're going to play in this universe. And
almost 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost 30. And they pulled off the Squids, which Zack Snyder thought he couldn't do. And they did it. So I think there's a newfound respect with these new writers that are coming in and doing these shows. And you have to remember that a lot of these shows have similarities to other shows because some of these writers worked on those shows that we watch and they tend to repeat themselves, kind of like Bendis revealing the identity of Spider-Man and then revealing the identity of Superman and then Secret Warriors being really Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, it's like, so they kind of repeat themselves. And that's what I think, but I'm just here for the ride. I think it's fun and I haven't been disappointed yet.
I think we're all here for the ride as long as it's not, anything that WB is touching. We'll leave that. We'll stow that away.
Hey. Zack Snyder's movie, The Justice League, is coming out soon. I've been rooting.
And we're gonna watch it.
Y'all gonna watch it. Y'all gonna watch it.
No.
I love what he says. As a series is based off of House of M, I do agree that Doctor Strange will show up to the Madness of the Hex. Wanda is giving it a saying, which I think is going to be dope. I think with this one is at the ties of Spider-Man movie, possibly bringing Big Hero 6. They talked about that they're looking to bring a live version.
Because technically the Big Hero 6 comic is a comic book, property. Right. Yeah, it's a comic book and it's a Marvel property. But they don't need to necessarily bring in Big Hero 6, proper. They just need to reference, like San Francisco.
They're probably going, because it says what they're probably going to do is, again, if it's anything to do with the multiverse, we may get them on a side show because they talk about that. Jimmy Woo, they're already pitching for him to get a show, which again, we may see some shenanigans, and everyone wants Jimmy Woo to have a show now, and Darcy as a sidekick. There are other Marvel shows that are coming out that may end up dealing with the multiverse, so we may see live versions of Big Hero 6. But we are coming up to that hour because this WandaVision episode was really mostly about Agnes. What are your guys' theories for the next episode? What do you want to see? What are you excited about with WandaVision? I want to start with. I want to go around the room. So we'll start with my left to right. We'll start with Ray, then Chris, DeLaw, and then Tony.
I want Pietro to be. If he's from a different universe, he has to be from the Marvel zombie universe.
I mean, we're getting a what if episode from that. So
that'd be crazy.
That's what I think. I think if that for Pietro, for Vision, I want to see Wanda and Vision like slug it out like Superman, Wonder Woman. Get some domestic violence in there, and then some superhero domestic violence, not real domestic violence. That's bad. And and then for the kids, I mean, I haven't really. I've read Marvel sporadically, but if these kids didn't exist in the 80s, how did Wiccan and Speed come about? Was that during a reboot or Heroes Reborn thing, or like?
No, they explained it in the comments something about that they had something. I forget what it was because this is so much stuff that happens in comics. But,
Immaculate Conception? What? It's like I don't know.
There were fragments of Mephisto's soul or something. I missed where they came around. I wasn't reading the Avengers when they came around, but I know there was explained like it was part of the lead up to House of M when they were then taken away but there was some Mephisto made them for some reason. I don't know what his plan was, to be evil.
Go back.
Here's some kids. No, you don't have kids. Haha. I'm the devil. What are you gonna do about it?
Right. Can't wait for that review, Chris. What are you waiting for this? For what are you excited about?
I think one of you had mentioned the next episode being sort of the Agnes story, like how they did. Like you had the first 3 were sort of full in Wanda's world, and then you sort of draw back and like what's been going on in the real world. I definitely would sort of like to see the next episode be almost sort of retelling the entire series. From Agnes's point of view,
like
maybe a bit of her backstory, and then sort of what was happening on the other side of the camera. And since they've played around so much with just the idea of television, I could definitely see almost a director's cut. Agnes talking about how she's made all these decisions, what she did. I don't know, DVD commentary sort of style stuff. I'm interested because they've sort of caught up to the contemporary in following the sitcoms. They've caught up to sort of now. So I'm not sure where they're going with that, but I would be interested in the deconstruction of the idea of making television with Agnes, the director, in the background. But where it's ending, I'm not sure. I think our big reveal, like Mephisto, and then we cut the season and leave everyone dying to see how it ties into Doctor Strange.
What about a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode?
And starring Agnes.
Agnes at the Vision, it's like
a completely dead anti-comedy one, yeah. Maybe we get The Office thrown in there.
Thunder Mifflin. There we go. I mean, Vision works in an office.
Yeah, apparently
in this show. Law?
I think I'm with Chris. Like you hit it on the head. Like there's, I want to like what Tone said. I want to see where what Agnes's backstory is. How she's been tying all these things together in the background. All these other things. But also, because we have so many theories that we've spoken about on the show that I've seen on, like a bunch of websites and whatnot. There's so many theories. And I want to see, honestly, part of me wants to be proven wrong. Like, I'm loving when they go, yeah, we're going to give you, like, this bone and then take it away last minute, give you something else that you didn't know that you wanted. And you're just like,
yeah.
Ooh, like, I'm so mad because I wanted that one, but I want this one more. Thank you, Marvel, for knowing better than me.
Yeah.
But, again, I want Ultron. I want Mephisto. I want all these things, but I feel like they have like a really, really bigger plan at play, and I'm just here for it. Like I'm here for the ride. Like you can give me a bunch of stuff right now to be like, all right, cool. Like let's do it.
Somebody said something about the Ultron being in the credits. I didn't catch that. Did you guys catch that? That comment?
No, I'm gonna have to go right back. That was Thomas Speed that touched that.
Also, this is the first time we had an after credits thing, right?
Yes. I scrubbed through the credits, and this is the first time I stopped doing it.
Dude, I was like scrubbing through. I was like, all right, whatever. And then finally, I scrubbed through the credits again. I was like, all right, we're done. I scrubbed, and I saw it. I was like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch it because I did not watch the credits this time because after 5, I was like, they're not doing anything, and I guess I finally gave up and they did it. So now I'm gonna have to go watch it.
Now we know after the next 2 episodes, everyone's gonna be scrubbing through the credits now.
Tony,
imagine they only do it for this episode.
I know.
8 minutes. That's like 8 minutes of credits too. That's a short credit scene.
Oh my god,
those credits going.
Then you get 2 credits. You get the fancy credits, and then you get the regular credits.
Yeah.
So, who do you guys think is going to be the surprise Avenger that's supposed to show up? Doctor Strange for sure, or you think it might be like Chris Evans or something?
I think Doctor Strange.
It might be. We're gonna see because like Marvel, like Kevin Feige loves to surprise us. He loves his surprises because he surprised us in a lot of different movies with everyone and everything with their storytelling, and they're really playing this closer, to the chest right now. Mm-hmm. But I'm just excited and I'm here for the ride. Tony, I want to get your thoughts on this too.
Sure. I mean, I'm here for the whole Agatha backstory. I mean, I think it'll be cool. She mentioned June 2nd in the first episode, and I think if we go to June 2nd. The start of the Salem witch trials, and we kind of just see what her life has been. I'm hoping these last 2 episodes are slightly longer. I think we have like 2 hours or 2.5 hours left to make the 6 hours amount of running time the entire series is supposed to be. So we get some time with her, at least for the first half. We cut to commercial, and then we go back to the basement and see where she's at now. Seeing what happened with the kids. And I think the big reveals that we potentially may see, I think Doctor Strange, but I'm I'm on this train that we're gonna see a physical representation of Mephisto. I'm here for it until the end of the last episode.
Somebody said something about Mephisto made a deal with Pandemonium.
Yep, that was balanced. Mephisto made a deal with Pandemonium, who absorbed the kids' souls to later be absorbed by Mephisto, and that's what happened. And it was, if you go to Google again, the actor of Ultron is in WandaVision, so we're going to look at that. But right now, this is that part of the show that I want you guys to plug away. So we'll start with you, Red. Go ahead, plugs, everything. Where can we find you? What you got going on? Please.
All right, so there's a lot of things happening for 2021. This is it's delayed, but this is
let me go grab something. I should go grab something to share.
Go ahead. I'll take my time. This is the real punchline. See, DC, in 2005, I submitted a proposal for a character named Punchline to DC Comics via Dennis O'Neil, who was my old professor back then, and gave him a whole proposal. They stole the story, and when they killed Batman and the Battle for the Cowl, which my story was called Mantle for the Bat, but now they went back to the well and they took out Punchline. So I said, you know what? During the pandemic, I put out my book, I drew it, put it out, and guess what? This beat DC's print. It came out 2 months before DC's, and DC's story is like 90% of the original script. So it's hilarious. So DC and I have been, their lawyers have been talking. Bronx Heroes in Trumpland is a book that came out. It literally launched April 1st of the pandemic. So it just started getting legs in September. It's been moving. It's in 29 countries. It was published, I believe, in 2 languages, in French and English. It's a Canadian printer. You can find that on Amazon. You can find that on bxhcc.com. You get a better deal from me because I have a sale for $10. And of course, the issue that started it all, World Without Superheroes, is continuing. I got 3 new issues coming out. This is the beginning of the series. This is volume 2, number 1, where you'll see things like multiverse stuff. It's almost like a play on an identity crisis, not a global crisis. And you'll have Marilyn Monroe in the next issue, and all sorts of characters. The assassination of Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, and the whole 60s type thing going on, because it's all about American history. And also conventions. I'm hoping to do a Bronx Heroes Con this summer. Hopefully COVID is over, and a Women in Comics Con. We were restructuring Women in Comics as a convention, and hopefully we'll be doing a big venue and having a great attendance, with your mask. So
awesome.
Chris, plug away. You got some awesome books coming out and everything, so please plug away.
So my sort of COVID project was I decided to start a literary anthology, and it started out as a random tweet that I just put online. I said, hey, who wants to do this with me? And it's sort of it ended up being the first book we did was this Octanton Land of Dust and Bone, with this sort of cool guy riding an ant for the cover, very
That's
Frank
sick.
Frazetta. The premise behind the series called Tales from the Year Between. It's a biannual series. We're actually just finishing up. Our second book comes out this Saturday. It's a space one with space sharks.
Oh, yeah.
And what we do for each one, rather than like a regular anthology, I get about 20 or 25 people together, and we do this big online world-building game together using Google Docs and stuff. It's sort of like a shared... it's based on this game called The Quiet Year, but it's sort of like you think of it like a giant, like you build in a D&D world together. Everyone gets a prompt, everyone gets to add stuff. So when this started out, all we had was the title, Octanton. I just made up a fantasy name that meant nothing, and people just added details to it. And so when we're done, we have the shared world, and then everyone goes off and tells a story that takes place in that world. So it's also like you're almost writing fan fiction for a world that we just made up. But especially like I pushed a lot of the weird fiction, like sort of M.T. Anderson or George R.R. Martin or Frank Herbert or like Dahlgren. And so I was like, make it weird. So like the first book has recipes in it. It has songs. It has maps. It has, short stories. It has poems. Second book, the same. We have one book of just of sort of a weird fiction, like Cthulhu horror anthology called Loathsome Voyages, that came out in January. And we just signed our first author, Michael Nadia, who writes sort of more traditional fantasy books. He'd been published by a previous publisher who went out of business, K&I Publishing, and we sort of signed him on. So we started in August, and as of now, we got 4 books out. And next month, we're going to be starting volume 3. So if anyone's interested in writing pirate stories in a shared pirate universe, all that's at www.skullgatemedia.com is our website. You can also, it's on the screen there. You can follow me at Skullgate Media is sort of my publishing name. And that's, you can buy our books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you buy books. But skullgatemedia.com is sort of the portal that gets you to everything we do.
So, guys, if you love what you heard from Ray and Chris, their links are in the description. Make sure you give them the like, the follow, check out their stuff. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming on Nerds Around, talking about some WandaVision. We got to geek out a little bit, and we're just looking forward to having you guys back on future episodes. Always open.
Thanks for having me. It was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. I have one last thing. I just renewed after 10 years. 10 years, right? Yeah. I lost my worldwithoutsuperheroes.com because when it expired, this Japanese company picked it up. So I got it back for 90 cents. After 10 years of being trapped. So worldwithoutsuperheroes.com links into bxhcc.com, and there will soon to be a bronxheroes.com. I got that back too. Cool. That was under lock and key for about a decade. So we're coming out bigger and better in 2021. So nice. Cheers to you. I brought you guys some beer, but guess what? I had to drink it all because there's no way.
Get out the airmail it to us now.
Yeah.
But guys, this has been another awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah.
So this has been another awesome episode of Nerds Around. This is your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
Anybody Tone from across the hall.
And we want to wish everyone a wonderful, beautiful night and keep watching WandaVision. Subscribe.